It is a complete lie that the patriarchy has sold us to think that your beauty is going to diminish as time goes by. Because look at anyone that's on a conscious journey, we keep getting hotter. We keep glowing up even harder. It keeps getting better. Life keeps getting better. It's because we are becoming more and more true to who we are. We are expanding our energy fields in ways that we could have never imagined before. And because of that, we naturally carry a beauty and radiance that our face literally shape shifts because we're no longer wearing the mask. The number one reason why people don't have strong auric fields is because they are wearing masks.
Trust flows, surrender, let go. Yeah. Trust flows, surrender, let go. I'm the one I've been waiting for. Trust flows, surrender, let go. Trust flows, surrender, let go. Trust flows, surrender, let go. I'm the one I've been waiting for. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Highest Self Podcast. My name is Sahara Rose, and this is a place where we discuss what makes you your soul's highest development. If it's your first time here, welcome. I love to make spirituality modern, fun, and relatable, and talk about the things that I've noticed in my life and help bring together a bigger picture perspective on it. Because let's be real, we all really live in the same life out here, but with different characters and plot lines, but really the same patterns, especially those of us that are on a spiritual journey. So for today's episode, I really want to talk about signs that you have a powerful, radiant, magnetic, and sometimes even triggering aura. And before we drop into this episode, be sure to hit subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. That is the best way to stay up to date on the latest episodes. We've got this in video format, so if you're just hearing my voice, be sure to also watch our fabulous outfits on video as well on Spotify, YouTube, or the Apple Store. This is the best way to stay in the flow with future conversations and also allows the podcast to reach more people. So hit subscribe so I can keep vibing with you on all future episodes. Now let's get into this one. So what is an aura? So have you ever felt when you were looking at a tree, you felt this energy around it? Maybe you actually saw a color, or for some of us, it's more of like a feeling, like you could feel like the happiness or the mood of that tree. An animal, you could feel into not just, whether it's wagging its tail or not, but you could feel into the essence, the energy of that animal. And then of course, people. You can tell that person has bad vibes. Where are we getting this information from? This person could look amazing, be smiling, saying all the right things, but we can feel something's off. And we can't pinpoint, it's because they move their eye in that way. But it's, as humans, we are vibrational beings. And 80+% of communication is energetic. Beyond just my physicality, it's how I express things. And of course, we can pinpoint it. Is your aura, your charisma? Is it how confident you are? It's something beyond it, because we can feel powerful auras in people who barely speak a word and people who are motivational speakers. We can feel it in an artist. We can feel it in a warrior. We can feel it in a monk. We can feel it in an entrepreneur. So it's not about what the person's doing, how much they're speaking, how confident necessarily they are from an outer sense, but rather it's something that we're feeling into. So our aura is our magnetic field. It is what surrounds us that people are tapping into on an unconscious level that is the majority of whom they are interacting with. Our aura is a reflection of the inner work that we have done. So I'm sure because you listen to this podcast, you've gone through a dark night of the soul. You've gone through something really big in your life that was challenging, and maybe that's what brought you to spirituality. And you found your way on the other side, and you fundamentally shifted as a person. Like, you are no longer that person that you used to be. You have different thoughts, different beliefs, different ways of showing up. It's like you died and a new version of you has come to life. And because of that, people who maybe haven't seen you since that old version of you tell you, whoa, you've really shifted. Something's changed. You look different. Something about you is just completely different from before. Have you ever heard anyone say that to you? It's because your aura has entirely shifted because of the inner work that you have done. So when someone has a radiant, sparkly, magnetic aura, it's actually a result of the depth of consciousness within themselves they have touched. So actually, the more aware we are of our shadows, the more we have actually felt our pain, the more we have explored the little crevices of our mind of why we do certain things and feel certain ways and have certain impulses and beliefs and have done that shadow work, the more on the other side, we actually become radiant and magnetic and sparkly because people can feel into the depth of our feeling. They can feel our energetic capacity to hold. And it's extremely intoxicating to be around. So you may have noticed that when you're at a party with, just regular muggle people just come up to you and they start talking to you and they start sharing. And before you know it, you were just trying to get some cheese on your plate and they're telling you their life story. They're telling you, they're like, I've never told anyone this before, but when I was 7 years old, like childhood traumas they've never spoken to a soul about. Suddenly they're like, I don't know, I feel comfortable telling you this, but I feel like telling you this right now. And you might be like, where is this coming from? And you might even think, oh, that's just how life is for everyone, right? Everyone just, wherever they go, everyone just opens up to them and like tells them all their deepest thoughts and fears and insecurities. And I have, I get into the Uber and I end up, giving him life advice at the end and wishing him luck on his custody battle. That's not everyone. Not everyone goes through life that way. It's a sign that you have a powerful aura because you have reached places within yourself that most have not. And so people can feel your depth, your range, your ability to go there. And because of that, they naturally start going places within themselves they never have before. So this is why in ancient Vedic culture, they had the guru. What was the guru? The guru was the person who had just gone to deeper depths of consciousness that you have, that to sit in their energy field, to satsang. It's not about them giving you a specific lecture. Just to sit in their presence awakens a greater gnosis, remembrance within yourself. This is why people would visit sages and saints. It's simply because being in the presence of someone who has really reached great depths within themselves inspires our own awakening. And guess what? You are a guru for someone else. And not in the bhakti way where it's like lineage based. I feel the new paradigm is about we are all gurus for each other. There are things like maybe this podcast right now, I am being a guru to you for, and there are things guaranteed that you will be a guru for me for, likely related to time management. So we all have things that we can teach and share with one another, and we actually can tune into people's auric fields to feel where there are gaps within ourselves, and those actually become the people that are magnetic to us. So now what does this mean for relationships? We actually are attracted to the people that have the things that we seek to embody within them ourselves. So we are attracted to people whom we aspire to be more like. We are attracted to the gaps that we do not have. For example, just like telltale feminine masculine relationship. Man, provider, he's able to get things done. A lot of women want this. The man who, he's a warrior, he's protector, provider, he knows what he's doing. You can turn your brain off around him. He's financially successful, he's stable, he's a leader, and you'll never have to worry about money again. I would say this is like the collective feminine fantasy around what they desire in a male partner. So if what we are attracted to is simply what we desire more of, how is this a call for ourselves to be our own inner protector, protector of our hearts, protector of our energy, protector of our emotions? How do we not protect ourselves? And so we are desiring a person to manifest into physical form to do the protection for us that we are unwilling to do or uncognizant of doing for ourselves. So many women, I really just want a rich man to take care of me. Okay, if your desire is to have more financial abundance, what is the part of you that is ready to step into that? What is the part of you that gets to go out there and build that business? What is the part of you that gets to go out there and get that money? And by the way, I guarantee you, when you have that money, whom you're attracted to will shift, because you're no longer going to be attracted to people who fill a void for what you don't have. This is why you see so many women sacrificing whom they're attracted to, whom they have great friendships with, whom they actually want to be in partnership with, simply because he can financially provide. But if the woman stepped into that within herself, she addressed that gap in her auric field, then all of a sudden her attraction point would shift. And, naturally would find whatever the next gap is until we come into a place of wholeness. And then we can actually truly only be attracted to, and them being attracted to us, someone else in their full wholeness. So I share this because auras give information. And we are attracted to people whose auras have codes for us that we desire to have more of. So I attract a lot of people who want to share their voice, who want to express themselves in greater ways, who are inspired by my ability to channel and to bring word into this higher level consciousness in a way that's really relatable and accessible. So I tend to attract people who in their auric field, that's their next area of focus. And there's a beauty to that because that's a very helpful thing, but we can look at it from the other realm, that oftentimes when we are unwilling to sit with our own pain, we will attract people who bring up pain. When we don't look at our darkness, we will attract people of the darkness. When we don't look at the shadows, we will attract someone that brings up all of the shadows. So points of attraction to me are a huge form of intelligence and barometers. They're like, that little test of the wind to see where I'm at. Because it shows me, okay, if I'm attracted to people who are very free-spirited, what is the part of me that wants to be more free-spirited? If I'm attracted to people who are narcissistic, what is the part of me that wants to put myself first? So we can always look at it in a mirror. So when you are a person with a powerful aura, you naturally, on the flip, will attract people who are drawn to your magic sauce. You will often attract people who need healing. You will attract people who see the way that you are so sure about yourself that the people who are uncertain will start to flock to you. Friends, relationships, colleagues. And so you might wonder, why am I attracting these kind of people? Well, it's because, again, their gap in their auric field is a natural fit for what you're already so radiant and expansive for. So like moths flocking to a light, they will flock to you. So when you are a person with a powerful and magnetic aura, you have all sorts of people coming to you. It's not only of the light, you also attract the dark. You attract everything. And it's important for us to be discerning. The reason why I brought up protection is because it is important to really be mindful of how we're using our energy, with whom we're sharing our energy with, because every single person we interact with is an energy exchange. And so have you ever had certain friends that every time you hang out with them, you're pretty exhausted and depleted on the other side? Well, that is a sign that there isn't a reciprocal exchange of energy, that the way that your auric fields are dancing with one another is there's more of a hungry ghost in their energy. So maybe after the conversation, they're feeling really uplifted and inspired, and you're left feeling very depleted. Well, that's because your auric field was so immense that it was pouring into them. And so they're feeling this upliftment of consciousness, and you are feeling a descent. So I want you to start really paying attention to those things. And yes, it may happen with family members. In fact, those are often our biggest triggers. The difference is we don't choose, at least consciously in this lifetime, our family, but we can choose our friends. And so if there are people in your life that are draining of your energy, that you have to do a lot of emotional processing, shaking off just to come back into equilibrium after sharing space with them. And I'm talking about perpetually, not, if you have a conflict, sometimes that will guaranteed happen with everyone in your life at some point. There will be periods of contraction, but when that period of contraction leads to more expansion and love, chef's kiss, that's what the work was. However, if it's constantly when I'm with this person, I'm left feeling depleted on the other side, it's just a sign that maybe back in the day when you guys were high school besties, your auric fields really danced with one another harmoniously, but likely you have shifted entirely. I mean, every 7 years, we literally become different people. Every single cell in our body changes. And so maybe you were a vibrational match at that time. And because of our sense of loyalty, we hold on to people, but we've shifted. And oftentimes it doesn't even take 7 years. I feel time is moving faster and faster and faster, and things are coming to awareness more quickly before. And so we're having these realizations that would have taken us years to figure out within days right now. And especially if you're awake and on a path of liberation, you can't lie to yourself for a second. The thing will instantly blow up in your face. And so because of that, we have to become a lot more aware of our energy. And when there is that kind of sour thought that I have when I'm thinking of that person, the invitation is to either like have the hard conversation and address it and see if you can move through it, or lovingly close that contract. Because we're not going to be able to continue to expand our energy if we're holding on to all of the contracts of the past. So our aura also comprises of all of the relationships that we are a part of. This is why you'll often see people have huge glow-ups after breakups, myself included. I was looking at pictures of myself when I was 26 years old, and I'm 34 years old. So that's 8 years older than I am now. And I am like, I am so much hotter now than I was when I was 26 because of my consciousness, because of what I've let go of, not just the divorce, but also ways that I was repressing myself, my voice, that I was, just not fully living in the container that I am now, that it's like really like, I feel like this container of being, I'm like pressing up on the walls every day of like more life, more consciousness, more awareness on a daily basis. It's like a galaxy that's perpetually expanding. And I'm sure in 8 years from now, I'm going to look at this podcast and be like, she was so cute in her little dress. And now I'm somewhere totally else. And that's the beauty, is as long as we are on a path of consciousness, our aura is just going to keep getting even more shiny, sparkly, and radiant. And so it is a complete lie that the patriarchy has sold us to think that your beauty is going to diminish as time goes by. Because look at anyone that's on a conscious journey, we keep getting hotter. We keep glowing up even harder. It keeps getting better. Life keeps getting better. It's because we are becoming more and more true to who we are. We are expanding our energy fields in ways that we could have never imagined before. And because of that, we naturally carry a beauty and radiance that our face literally shapeshifts because we're no longer wearing the mask. The number one reason why people don't have strong auric fields is because they are wearing masks. So the person with the powerful aura, they walk into a room and people just notice them. And it's not about like their confident walk, though that might be some people, but it's the way that your awareness just wants to shift into their energy. It's an unspoken. They're someone that's naturally very empathic, someone who can very deeply connect with other people, someone that when you're speaking to them, it's like they're looking straight inside of your soul, someone that you feel very seen, heard, felt, understood with. So they are empaths, they are healers, they are way showers. A person with a powerful aura doesn't even need to say much. It's their essence. It's how they speak, including the silence. Do you see yourself one day starting a podcast, writing books, speaking on stages, sharing your message with the world? But the thing is, you are afraid that you're not a good enough speaker yet. Maybe you're inspired by people like me and Gabby Bernstein, and you know you have it within yourself too, but you just don't know where to start. Well, I have gotten this question so many times, and this is why I've created my Speak with Soul 21-day method. This guides you from awkward to confident speaker in just 3 weeks' time. I guide you through daily prompts, practices, and share all of the wisdom that I have learned as a professional speaker, podcaster, author, and someone who literally makes a living sharing my voice as well as through music, and how you can too in your own unique way. So the testimonials from Speak with Soul are insane. I have seen people literally be hired to host their own radio shows. Hundreds of people start their own podcasts, create YouTube channels, IG live series, get book deals, the list goes on. So whether you want to professionally share your voice or just get better in conversation and connection and just feel more confident in what you say and not feel like you're so in your head and release any fears or hesitations you have around the way that your voice sounds and its pitch, well, this course covers all of it. So it's just 10-minute daily videos for 21 days that I promise you, if you follow this process, you will be a completely other person on the other side. Because the truth is, when is the last time you spent any time on your speaking? For most of us, it was like maybe an awkward speech in high school and we never touched it again. So speaking is the way that we communicate with the world. It's the most important thing we can do. It's the way that we get our message across. And I know if you're listening to this podcast, you have a really important message to share, because regular people don't listen to this podcast. So if you're feeling the call, come join me in Speak with Soul. I have a special 25% off discount for you listed below. So head over to the show notes or over to speakwithsoulcourse.com. That's speakwithsoulcourse.com to receive the 25% off right now. And you can also find that link in the show notes. I'm so excited to hopefully be on your podcast. A person with a radiant aura is no longer seeking validation from any external source. She's not speaking from that subconscious, do you like me? Do you like what I'm going to say? Is this resonating with you? That a lot of people speak through, and I'm sure you felt it before, and we've all done it before subconsciously. But a person with a powerful aura, she doesn't shapeshift based on who she's speaking to. She's always herself. And that being of herself, that anchoring she has in her own essence, is extremely magnetic, because she's no longer trying to distort herself to be the version of herself that she thinks you will like. So when we are in that maiden people pleaser energy, we're always trying to read between the lines of, will you like me? And if I'm a little bit more like this, if I talk a little bit slower or faster or say this or say that or tell these kind of stories, will you like me? Will I be enough? In that energy, even if it's unconscious, you may have never had that thought, but maybe you can go back and look at yourself as a teenager and see how you were operating from that system. I think all of us as teenagers had that system of feeling extremely insecure about who we are. And those threads follow us in life. And sometimes certain people bring them out more so. You know, if you always wanted your dad's validation and approval, likely in your male partnerships, that energy comes out. If you always wanted your mom's, likely in your female friendships or partnerships, that comes out. So until we become aware of something and decide that we want to shift it, that belief structure follows us. So we have all of these belief structures and masks that we're holding on to. And if you see my last solo cast, I really, really dive deep into thought forms and how they create entities and force fields and deities and ways of being, and even the biggest atrocities in our society, which all come from thought forms. So I will link that solo cast below. But these thought forms actually appear in our energy field. So, you know, when you talk to someone and you can already infer so much about who they are, that you can tell that they're shy and held back. You can tell that they are maybe very full of themselves. You can tell this and tell that. And again, it's in correlation with your energy, because we all are going to see people based on who we are. And often it's projections. Everything in this life is a projection. So it's often, again, the hole in our own consciousness. So sometimes people will trigger us, but it's actually, we sometimes don't realize it till years later. They were just embodying something that we knew deep down inside we had, but we had not yet stepped into. So, for example, I used to get a lot of messages from people saying, I came across you on social media, and at first I was so triggered by you, the way that you were just showing up and dancing and sharing. And I was like, who does this girl think she is? And it wasn't until my spiritual journey that I realized that it was only triggering to me because you were a reflection of what I really desired to step into. And it's actually quite beautiful when I hear that, because it shows the level of embodiment that someone has gone to really recognize that the trigger is the way. And that when there's something that's disrupting our auric field, it's actually just a call for greater growth. And that's going to keep happening until we reach this place in our auric field that things are naturally balanced. It's like a quilt. We have these different colors, but they're woven harmoniously with each other. And so we might see someone who's totally different from us. It makes no sense to us, but we can genuinely appreciate them. So you have a really powerful aura when you don't hold judgment around people. When people can say the most outlandish things and you don't flinch, you're like, oh, okay. Like genuinely from a place of understanding that we're all just humans. So when people get triggered, when people react, when people are trying to decide what's right or wrong for other people's actions, it's a sign that their aura is still very fragile. So I'm sure you've seen people that are like, they feel like they need to be the teacher for everyone else. Oh, you need to be more like this. Oh, don't do that. Oh, well, I'm feeling this way. They always have feedback, and they're constantly uncomfortable with the world. Everything is triggering to them. Well, it's a sign that they really haven't built their auric energy, because it's like one person says one thing and they're completely thrown off balance. And sometimes it takes them days to come back from it. When someone really dives deep within themselves, the things about themselves that trigger them, their own fears, their own shadows, their own insecurities, and makes peace with all of those parts of themselves. And then when something happens that triggers them, can genuinely come to a place of awareness of that consciousness also exists within me. Because I would not have created this circumstance on a deeper soul level had this consciousness not been something that needed to be looked at in my field. Now, this does not mean that you are that person in every single way, but that means there had to have been some sort of energetic paddle game that wanted to happen. And I use the word paddle game because it's not necessarily that you are a match in consciousness, but rather you needed to play a game. They needed to throw a ball at you, and you needed to throw a ball at them, and you needed to have this exchange because of what the exchange left you both with. And it left each of you with very unique teachings. So you may have dated someone, and your experience of them was, dating this person really taught me the importance of speaking my boundaries and stepping into my worth. And their experience could have been, this relationship really taught me that I need to put myself first, and I actually am not looking for a relationship right now. The paddle game needed to happen. You needed to exchange codes. And oftentimes it's in the ending of things that the lessons come through. And so every single one of these things is actually tuning our aura. It's shifting our aura. It's changing the colors of our energy. And it's actually enhancing it. You know, I feel a lot of us, when we first get into spirituality, we think it's all about white light. Being this completely clear, pure vessel that nothing has ever happened to, and it's crystalline, and it's like a baby that just came from the womb and is just like has angel wings, and we need to be like this all the time. And so God forbid life's us. And then we're like, shit, now I've got trust issues. Oh crap, now I'm worried about being betrayed again. Now I'm this. I used to be this pure white light, and now I have to deal with all this human stuff. No, those experiences were all the alchemical processes that your soul needed to go through to expand its aura in the only way that it could have. So it's actually a huge gift when your aura moves into deeper colors. Those take time to earn, right? Like going into a true indigo is a deep awareness of your crown chakra, a deep going into your intuition. So we think, oh, having a good aura means I need to be all bright and joyful and positive all the time. No. It's actually the range of color that we have. And I'm not just talking about physical color, though some of us do see physical colors of auras, but it's the range of emotionality. It's the spectrum, it's the nuance, it's the texture. Have you guys ever felt a person who's textured versus someone who's not? So do you have that friend or maybe like a cousin you have to see in family reunions and you're like, hey, how are you? How's work? Oh, it's good. Cool. Your cat's good? Oh yeah, nice. Well, I'm gonna grab more turkey. That. There's not much texture there. And again, it could have just been both of you guys don't really know how to deepen the conversation. But you can feel like some people like just go through life and they like just don't really ask deep questions. I mean, I've been amazed. I wasn't quite aware of this until I started going out there and dating. And I'm like, y'all really exist? Are y'all humans or NPCs? And you realize a lot of people just go through life like really just swimming in the shallow end. And so when you are someone that has dove in deep into your waters, you would rather drown than stay in the shallow end. And so that person may have a very beautiful, nice aura. It might be a beautiful yellow. They're fun. They're kind, but there is no depth. There's no texture. There's no nuance. There's no, joie de vivre. You can feel that. And then, certain people, it's like the first conversation you have is like, what's the meaning of life? Share with me a poem that makes you cry. What is love really about? Like these deep existential conversations. And it's just like, whoa, like I feel like I know you better than I know some of my friends that I've known for like 20 years. That's when two very rich auric fields come together. And so then they have all of these different avenues that they can touch base on. Like, those friends that you can like really talk about anything. Like you can be like laughing and playing in the yellows and oranges and you can like be like, oh, this really deep thing happened to me. And they can hold you there and like be right there with you. So this shows that both of you have really expanded the range, the spectrum of colors of your auric fields. And so there's a lot of different synergistic points for you to dance on. And I believe those people that really your ranges match each other are the soulmates of your life. And they often come in friendships. My strongest soulmates right now are my best friends. And two friends specifically, one friend, Christine, who I've been living with here in Bali. And it's like, the kind of friendship that you can be laughing and dancing and playing and having so much fun, or sharing like the deepest, stickiest thing that like you have maybe had a hard time even admitting to yourself and you're admitting it to someone else and you're held in that. Like it has that full range. And for sure, she's like a soulmate in my life. And inshallah, your romantic relationship is one that can be that too, because anything less, it's like you have to wear the mask. And when you wear the mask, you start to dim your aura. And when you dim your aura over time, you have the glow down that happens in a lot of relationships. And then finally, when the relationship ends, you have the glow up because finally the mask can come off and you can be you all the time. Now, this does not mean your romantic partner needs to touch base with you on every single interest or thing you have. It's not actually about interests. It's not about we like doing the same things at all. You don't need to like any of the same things. But it's about, can they meet me in my consciousness? Can we be in this kind of energy together, that kind of energy together? And even in energies that they can't be in that same energy, can I feel safe in that energy with them? Can I go there even if they can't? Because let's be real, women, we do have a wider emotional range than men. It is biological. So he might not know or be able to tune into every nuance and feeling the way that we can with each other, for sure. However, when you are feeling something that maybe he can't connect to that because he's never felt that way before, do you feel safe to feel that in his presence? And that is really what the soulmate is about. So I share this because your aura interplays with everything. It interplays with whom comes into your field, your relationships, your friendships, how you show up in the world. And as a person with a powerful aura, you may have been going through life not realizing that people are naturally attracted to you, opening up to you, sharing with you things that they don't normally share with people because they can feel the depth and range in your presence. And you may notice patterns and consistencies of things that you are very, very good at. You attract the inverse. You attract people who really want more of that thing because they can feel the surplus of energy you have there. And so the people who have that gap are attracted to that thing. And then you can learn the energetic protection of, how do I want to share this thing? Maybe I create a container that I coach people in that thing rather than being in a relationship with them. And so your aura contains great intelligence. And when we start to become more aware of this, it starts to open us up to an entirely new way of interacting with the world. And it also allows us to connect deeper to the synergistic relationships that we have underlyingly with people. So certain friendships and relationships, family relationships, they all have a unique vibration and tone. And so you can start to feel into, how do our auras dance together? The combination of their colors and my colors, what do we co-create? Is this a dynamic where we laugh a lot together? It's very fun. Is this a dynamic that we go very deep? Is this a dynamic that has both? Is this a dynamic that it's very fiery and they kind of like bring out the worst in me, but also are very exciting? Is this a dynamic that we go into these very philosophical quadrants of our consciousness? Is this a dynamic that, oh, I just want to take care of them? And then we can even look at what were the past lives that likely happened that has created this dynamic. And I've done a couple episodes on past lives. It's one of my definite areas of interest in spirituality. I will link a couple of the past life episodes below and let me know if you have any questions on that. But it all relates because our auric field also really highlights our past lives. So, for example, in my aura, and I'm actually curious, before I say anything, what do you feel in my aura? Okay, now that you've taken a second to take me in, do you notice any colors? Do you notice any archetypes? Do you feel into any past lives, lineages? Do you feel like maybe we've known each other before? Probably have. So in my auric field, what I have felt and what many people have seen in me is the main colors are turquoise, peach, gold, indigo, white. It's very sparkly, luminescent. The past lives I'm very connected to are real past lives in India and Rajasthan, and ancient past lives in Persia, which is my current incarnatory form, as well as Amazonian warrior, medicine woman in Guatemala, African dancer and drummer. And I've also had past lives that I've been a slave. I've had past lives that I've been homeless. And the main archetype I'm here to embody in this lifetime is the priestess, the mystic, the oracle, the way shower. And of course, many past lives in ancient Egypt as well. So I'm curious, did any of those things come up for you? Because that was you channeling. And so me sharing it, the reason why I shared it is because I want to give you feedback. Because sometimes we're picking up on things and we're like, am I just making this up right now? But when we hear that feedback, and I'm curious, what did you pick up on? Was it the colors that you felt? Was it the past lives? Was it the archetype? Was it something else? And each of you is going to connect to my auric field in a different way based on your auric field. And so that's what's cool. And it's fun because sometimes we'll all experience the same thing about someone. Like we all, I think all of us can kind of feel a gold in my energy field, right? But then some people might be tuned more into this aspect or that, or see something totally different. And it's all based on what we're coming to the party with. So a fun game that you can play with your friends is look at different celebrities or mutual friends that you have. What do you see in this person's aura? What does their aura feel like to you? What colors do you see? Past lives do you see? Archetypes do you see? What feelings and emotions does it bring out? Does this person have a very queenly energy? Do they have a warrior energy? Do they feel like a lost artist? What stories can you create around it? And you might say, well, I'm just making this up. Where is that imagination coming from? It's coming from somewhere. And so my homework for you is to start really paying attention to auras. Start to notice the auric fields of the people around you. Are they wide and far-reaching? Or are they small? Do some auras grab you in? Do some auras repel you? Do some auras activate you? Some trigger you? Some you feel absolutely nothing with? Some you might not even feel like, is this person alive? Notice that. And the next piece of the homework is notice the people whom you attract in your life. Friendships you have, people you tend to date, partners, etc. Even looking at people in your past. What similarities in their aura do you find? Are you attracted to very playful people? Are you attracted to very intelligent, smart, heady people? Are you attracted to people who tend to all have this unique shade of blue? Are you attracted to people who tend to all have this very scholarly energy? So notice the patterns. Start to ask myself, why is that attraction there? What is the intrigue? What is the curiosity? Is this something I desire to step more into? So when we can start to really see people, and not just physically, but see the truth of who people are, it opens up such a greater range of communication and connection that we could have ever had before. Because then we're not just avatar interacting with avatar, words interacting with words, which are all just air. But we're actually going deep, soul to soul. And I feel the reason why as a society we're so hungry. We're so hungry for connection and love, but we take it in whatever breadcrumb ways we can. Addictions, going on social media, smoking the vape, porn, shopping, the list goes on. Because on a deep level, we all just desire to be seen and felt and understood. And the only way that we can do that is to start to see, feel, and understand others and let ourselves in all of our idiosyncrasies and all of our shadows be seen. We cover up and wear masks on our aura when we are afraid of what people will see. But the darkest parts about you are the parts of you that the people in your life will love the most. Just like the parts of your child or your partner or your best friend, those parts of them, you love them because of that thing. And when you let your full self be seen, it's the only way that you can let your full self be loved. And that is why we're here. We're here to cast these magnetic auras so we can call upon our soul fam. So we can call upon the people who we're here to do life with. They are our calling cards to the universe. And so we don't want to hide it. We don't want to distort it. We don't want to take on different colors and qualities that we are not, because then we're going to attract a tribe that is based on this false version of ourselves. And then no wonder we feel so lonely with the people we're around. But we want to be so authentically ourselves. And sometimes that means saying the uncomfortable thing. That means sometimes losing the relationship or friendship. That means sometimes being alone for periods of time. So we can really be true to our own frequency, and naturally we will sync up with the exact people that we are meant to, people who are so radiantly themselves, and you're radiantly yourselves, and your auras can make the most beautiful rainbow of light that this consciousness ever existed before. And that magic that it makes together, that synergy creates new colors that the world has never experienced before. And that is why we're here, to expand the range of colors of life. So I'm curious, are you someone with a powerful aura? What of these signs have you felt within yourself? And what did you see in my aura? I'm very curious. I'm going to be checking these YouTube comments for sure. I'm very curious what you felt in my field. And this is such a fun practice to do with your friends. So share this episode with your friends. Say, let's do the aura game. Let's, look at pictures of celebrities or people that we know and feel into their auric fields and say out loud what we see and see the differences and commonalities of how we see the world and others. I'm very excited for this time because I really feel we're in this precipice of this shift towards communicating more telepathically, more psychically, more through the heart. And this comes from paying more attention to things like someone's energy and less just based on the words. I think one of the problems of social media is we focus so much on the words, we don't see the person's face who wrote them. And the new paradigm is actually really, it's like wordless. It's just, we're just going to be looking at each other and speaking through our consciousnesses and saying so much more than any words could ever say. And I'm excited for this time because it's going to create so much more understanding. Because right now, the reason why there's so much conflict amongst friends, relationships, and the entire state of the world is because we're not hearing each other. We're saying things and people aren't listening, and they're saying things and we're not. We're not meeting eye to eye. And so as we shift and we feel auras, we can look at the auras of our world leaders and we're going to see the exact same thing in all of them. I'm not going to name no names, but I think we're all seeing what's going down in their auras. And so if we start to vote based on auras, we start to say, hey, world leader, I'm not going to believe a word that you say because I can see your aura is fiery red and wants to blow things up and I don't trust you. When we can start to actually really tune into our bodies and our intuitions, the entire world is going to look like such a different and more beautiful and true place. And for that, I am so excited. And it starts with us. It starts with us flexing our auric muscles. It starts with us then to have the courage to take action on what we see. So let me know how this episode resonated. Let me know about my aura. Let me know what you see. I'm very, very curious. This is such a juicy conversation, one that I love to have. So if you love this episode, please be sure to leave a review on a YouTube comment or podcast app, and I will send you my free womb meditation as a gift. Just take a screenshot and email it over to me at Sahara@IamSaharaRose.com. All of the links and things I mentioned today are in the show notes. Please be sure to subscribe to this episode wherever you are. Share it with a friend if it resonated. Be sure to do the auric practice, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Namaste.
Trust your intuition, trust your inner wisdom, trust your inner guidance. Close your eyes and listen. Surrender, let go. So trust your intuition, trust your inner wisdom.